In this video, I want to talk about the long tail and why it is really, really important for things that we do in this world and for entrepreneurial ventures, for startups, for anything knowledge. And I want to talk about it using the Reciprocity Project because I think it's a really important case in terms of how this has evolved and what is going on with this. So before I get into that, if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole Reciprocity Project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out. So what is the long tail? So the long tail basically states, and I can't remember the person, I'm blanking on the person's name who actually popularized it in the early aughts, and it's basically looking at the distribution of returns, the distribution of preferences of individuals, where the vast majority of outcomes actually cluster around a very low number, and there is a long tail where there are sort of unique preferences and few people sort of spotting different things and in preferring a few different sort of random things. And so what does this mean with that kind of distribution? Well, that is actually a distribution that is widely known, and it's been known for a long time. And a lot of people actually, a lot of things in life actually follow this distribution. Things like city development, for example, things like knowledge, things like the internet, anything where there is accumulated dynamics in this world. And so what does that mean for any sort of entrepreneurial venture? Well, it means that only a few people are ever going to watch anything that I put out. So the Reciprocity Project. And the vast majority of things are never ever going to go viral. And none of these videos are ever going to go viral. And most things are sort of unique to individual people. That's actually how Amazon works. And that was the sort of impetus behind Amazon, is looking at how very few people sort of buy books. And if you can build a scalable business, it's like certain book titles, then you can leverage that, right? And so that's what they did with Amazon. That's how they sort of grew that particular business. So what's that mean for Reciprocity? What's the story here? Reciprocity was built. I created this app, this sort of sharing economy editing platform on the internet. I built it. I thought it was going to be sort of like a big thing where lots of people use this thing, but I was totally forgetting about the long tail, where vast majority of people are never going to pay attention to it. Nobody's ever going to really look at it. And only a few people are going to really acknowledge that that thing exists and become kind of like a fan of it. And when I put it out, there was like crickets. And this is really normal for anything with anything like this, any sort of software or startup thing. That is very, very likely. That's your most likely thing to happen, is that there's going to be crickets and nobody's going to pay attention to what you're doing. And only a very, very rare case, a rare scenario, is that something is actually going to take off and become a big hit. And it doesn't usually work that way. And so when I put it out, I started putting out videos and stuff, because somebody told me to actually start putting out videos to sort of tell the story about reciprocity, or just like give kind of like how-to videos. And when I started doing that, I realized nobody's paying attention to those either, because nobody knew what reciprocity was. And so I started actually telling a little bit more about my story and about what the world is, like in academia. And people started resonating with that, and started resonating with what's it like to be a graduate student, the sort of struggles and pains that we all deal with. And definitely people have started to resonate with that. And so what does that mean? That means that with the long tail, and what we're doing is that the way it works is that people pay attention to things that they resonate with and that they appeal to and that they feel like they have a unique experience with. They don't pay attention to things that they don't have a connection to and that they don't necessarily feel comfortable with, right? So things on the internet are generally really scary for most people, because there's a lot of scam artists out there. And that's how a lot of these algorithms work, is they're weeding out all these scam artists that are on the internet. That's the sort of basic premise of it. And so not only people are weeding out sort of scam artists that are on the internet, but they're weeding out, or not only people are doing that, but also the algorithms are doing that. And so it's really hard to get people to sort of pay attention to what you're doing, and you have to build a connection with people before they start trusting you and before they start paying attention to you. And the way that you actually build trust and connect with people with this sort of setup as a long tail is you start telling stories, and you start talking about yourself, and you start revealing who you are, and you become personable and really focus on sort of unique, weird, idiosyncratic things where there's only one little person out there that would ever pay attention to that. And that's really what this is about, is telling your story that's unique, because then people follow along and they get what you're about, and they start building trust with what you're doing. So this video is really geared towards those people that are doubting themselves when doing something like this, that whenever they do something that's entrepreneurial, or that is doing something that is innovative, or that has never been done before, just have some faith in yourself and know that these things take a long time, and you have to tell more and more of your story, because everybody is just really curious about your story, and your story is unique, and it does help out for a lot of people. So if I could tell you to do one thing, it's just stay the course and have courage with the things that you are doing. Know that it takes a while, and it doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to be you. And I think that's the important thing, is that the more it's you, whatever that is. So for me, I do a lot of walking. So now I'm doing a lot of walking because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing other things. My life is already busy enough. And so if this is the way that I have to communicate with you, and it's very raw, and it's just like me on a cell phone, that's it. That's what I can do. And you have to sort of find the thing that's good for you. And once you start doing that and becoming yourself, then I think you can start building more and more connections with other people. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.